Adaobi, known to everyone as Ada, was a type of woman people turned to when they needed help, whether it was connecting someone to a wholesaler or finding a reliable supplier. Ada always had the answer. She wasn't born into wealth. In fact, her life began in a modest home in Onitsha, where she lived with her parents until tragedy struck. At the age of 14, she lost both her mother and father in a car accident, leaving her to fend for herself. Life no easy, Ada would often mutter to herself, especially on nights when she cried herself to sleep, with no siblings or extended family to rely on. She knew she had to grow up quickly. At first, she started small. She would visit the market, talk to traders, and help them find customers to their goods. "Auntie, I have brought customer for you," she would say, with a bright smile, earning a small commission from each sale. Bit by bit, Ada saved her earnings, using them to pay her school fees and feed herself. By the time Ada graduated from secondary school, she had learned one important thing about life. Relationships were key. People trusted her because she was honest, and she never promised what she couldn't deliver. "Won't you go to the university?" one of the market's women, Mama Ebiri, asked her one day. Ada smiled faintly. She wanted to go to the university more than anything, but she didn't have money. All the little she made went to feeding herself, paying her rent for the small room she stayed in, and keeping herself afloat. "God will help me, Mama," she replied, masking her fears. The truth was, Ada knew nobody was coming to help her. She would have to fight for everything herself. So after graduating from secondary school, she expanded her little business. Now, she wasn't just connecting traders with customers. She began helping people find services too. Tailors, carpenters, transporters, whatever people needed, Ada would make it happen. And for every transaction, she made a cut. Soon, she became so efficient that even shop owners at Onitsha Main Market knew her name. Ada the Connector, they would call her, and she would laugh, knowing that her hustle was paying off. One day, while waiting to collect her commission from a trader, Ada overheard two men talking about a new logistics company opening in Lagos. "I hear they pay well," one of them said. Ada's ears perked up. She had always dreamed of leaving Onitsha for Lagos. The big city seemed like the kind of place where someone like her could thrive. That night, as she lay on her small mattress, she made up her mind she would move to Lagos. She didn't have a plan, but she had her savings and her determination. Lagos was everything Ada imagined and more: loud, fast, and full of opportunities. She rented a small one-room apartment in Mushin and quickly started building a network. At first, it was hard. She didn't know anyone, and Lagos people weren't as trusting as the traders back in Onitsha, but Ada didn't give up. She would wake up 5 a.m. every day, dress neatly, and head to the busy markets on Lagos Highland. There, she would introduce herself to traders and offer to help them find customers. "Please, sir, I will help you sell," she would say. "You don't have to pay me unless I bring a customer." Most of the traders were skeptical, but Ada's persistence paid off. Within months, she had built a reputation as someone who delivered on her promises. One day, after helping a shoe seller secure a bulk order from a boutique owner in Ikeja, Ada had an idea. "What if I start my own company?" she thought. She realized that she could formalize her business, branding herself as a professional connector of products and services. She would create a network that both buyers and sellers would rely on. With the little money she had saved, Ada printed business cards that read, "Ada Solutions, connecting you to what you need." She distributed the cards everywhere she went, from markets to offices, and her business began to grow. Even as her business flourished, Ada remained humble. She never flaunted her success and continued to live modestly. When she eventually hired her first set of staff, she told them she was managing the company for her uncle. As her business grew, Ada realized she needed a way to deliver the products she connected people to. Hiring external transporters was becoming too expensive and unreliable. Why not start your own logistics company, her friend Uju suggested. At first, Ada laughed. The idea of running a logistics company seems too big for her. But the more she thought about it, the more it made sense. With the money she had saved, Ada bought her first delivery van. It wasn't new, but it was reliable. It got the job done. She named her logistics company Swift Moves. Within a year, Swift Moves became one of the most reliable logistics companies in Lagos, and Ada was making more than she ever imagined. As Ada sat in her office one evening, looking at the bustling streets of Lagos, she couldn't help but feel grateful to God. She had come a long way from the orphaned teenager in Onitsha, but deep down she knew her journey was far from over. I will make it bigger than this, she said to herself, determination gleaming in her eyes. It was a bright Monday morning at the University of Lagos. Ada sat quietly in the back row of her economics lecture, jotting down notes. Although she was focused on her studies, she couldn't help but notice the young man who always seemed to sit a few seats away from her. His name was Chike, a tall, dark, and kind-hearted young man who had a reputation for being both intelligent and humble. Chike had a way of commanding attention without even trying. His calm demeanor and easy smile were enough to make him stand out. Ada, why do you always look at that boy like that? Her friend Nkechi teased her during lunch one afternoon. Which boy? Ada asked, pretending not to know. Everybody in the class is aware that you like him. Why don't you talk to him? Nkechi laughed. Ada shook her head, feeling shy. Please leave me alone. I don't have time for that one. But deep down, Ada couldn't deny that she felt something whenever she saw Chike. One afternoon, as Ada was leaving the library, she tripped over a stack of books someone had left on the floor. Before she could land on the ground, a strong hand caught her arm and steadied her. Careful, the voice said gently. Ada looked up and saw Chike smiling at her. Oh, thank you, she stammered, her cheeks flushing. I think we're in the same economics department. You're Ada, right? Ada was surprised he even knew her name. Yes, you're Chike. Correct, he said with a playful nod. You always write so much in class. I've been meaning to ask if I can borrow your notes sometimes. Of course, Ada said, trying to hide her excitement, and just like that, their friendship began. Over the next few months, Ada and Chike became inseparable. They studied together, ate together, and spent hours talking about their dreams and ambitions. Chike admired Ada's determination and networking nature. He often told her, "You'll be one of the most successful people I know. I can see it in your eyes." Ada in turn loved how supportive Chike was. He believed in her even when she doubted herself. Their relationship soon became the talk of the campus. Those two are perfect couple, people would say. Every evening after their lectures, Chike would walk Ada to her off-campus apartment before returning to his hostel. It didn't matter how tired he was. He always made sure she got home safely. After graduating, life began to pull Ada and Chike in different directions. Ada stayed in Lagos to focus on her business, while Chike returned to his hometown in Enugu to care for his sick father and look for a job. At first, they tried to keep their relationship alive through phone calls and letters. But as the months turned into years, the distance began to take its toll. I don't know if this long-distance thing will work, Chike said one day during a phone call. Ada's heart sank. She knew he was right, but the thought of letting go was painful. Maybe we just need more time, she said, trying to sound hopeful. But deep down, they both knew that their paths were diverging. Eventually, the calls became less frequent and life moved on. 5 years after graduation, Ada had successfully established a company. Her logistics business, Swift Moves, was thriving, and her life seemed perfect on the surface. But there was still a part of her that missed Chike. One morning, as Ada was reviewing job applications for a new position at her company, a familiar name caught her eyes, Chike Okonkwo. She stared at the name for a long time, wondering if it could be the same Chike she knew. Could it be him? She whispered to herself. Her curiosity got the best of her, and she instructed her HR to schedule an interview for him the next day. The following morning, Chike walked into the company's reception area. He was older, more mature, but still had the same smile Ada remembered. As he sat down for the interview, Ada entered the room pretending to be just a manager. "Good morning, sir," she said formally. "Good morning, sir," she said formally, trying to hide her excitement. Chike looked up and froze. "Ada?" Ada smiled. "Yes, it's me." For a moment, they just stared at each other, memories flooding back. "I can't believe this," Chike said, shaking his head. "You work here?" "I manage the company," Ada replied, choosing her words carefully. The interview didn't last. Ada already knew she was going to hire him, but she still wanted to keep her true role in the company a secret. Working together brought Ada and Chike closer again. They often stayed late in the office talking and laughing like old times. Over time, their feelings for each other reignited. 2 years later, Chike proposed to Ada in the most romantic way, and she said yes without hesitation. It was a beautiful and joyous celebration. All their colleagues, friends, and family were present at this beautiful celebration of genuine love. Chike was a very humble man who never took for granted all Ada did for him. He was smart and took the company like his own. He was never arrogant to her and was always appreciative of her. Ada would sometimes send gifts to his family, lying they were from her husband, their son. Ada and Chike settled into married life with ease. Their love was strong and their bond felt unbreakable. They supported each other in every way possible. Chike took a deep interest in Ada's business, and Ada encouraged Chike to pursue his own dreams. They bought a beautiful home in Ikeja, a serene place where they could escape the hustle and bustle of Lagos life. Even though they lived comfortably, Ada remained humble. Every morning she woke up early to prepare breakfast. Even though they had house help, she loved taking care of her husband. Their mornings were always filled with laughter, teasing, and soft moments that reminded them of why they fell in love in the first place. As time went on, Ada promoted Chike to a managerial position in her company. Although he was initially hesitant, Ada reassured him, "Honey, you deserve this position, and I trust you more than anyone else." Chike excelled in his new role. He treated the company like his own, always supporting Ada's decisions. So the employees, they looked like a power couple, but most of them still believed Ada was just the general manager running the business on behalf of her uncle. Despite their happiness, Ada and Chike faced a new challenge: Chike's mother, Mama Chike. Mama Chike was a traditional Igbo woman who believed that a wife's primary duty was to bear children. She had been patient for the first 2 years of their marriage, but after 5 years passed without a child, her patience wore thin. One Sunday afternoon, while they were resting at home, they heard a knock on the door. It was Chike's mother. She came unannounced. "Mama, welcome," Ada said, trying to hug her. But her mother-in-law flared up. "Don't hug me. I want a hug from my grandchildren," she said. "You've been married to my son for over 5 years now, and all you know how to do is to eat my son's money, wear expensive clothes and hairs, and drive big cars," Chike's mother complained. "Mama, please stop. You can't come to my house and insult my wife. Don't even start, or you'll go back to your husband's house tonight. I will personally drop you off." "Mama, God will bless us with children in due time," Ada managed to say as she took the luggage to the room. Later, Ada spoke to Chike about the way he spoke with his mom earlier. Honey, don't you think you were a little too rude with your mom earlier? She asked. Baby, I know my mom more than you. This is exactly what she needs, or she will never stop. Don't worry about her, Chike replied. The next day, Ada woke up and prepared breakfast for everyone and packed their lunch for work. She tried to count some money for herself and also leave the remaining for her mother-in-law, just in case she needed to buy anything. Her husband had left for work earlier, so she wanted to tell her mother-in-law that her son left some money for her in case she needed anything. But before Ada could finish, her mother-in-law dragged the bunch of money. Give me that money. It's my son's money, you poor thing. All you do is buy, and buy. Look at your hair. It's worth over 300,000 naira. You go to work late and you come back early. But Mama, I do so I can prepare food for my husband, Ada explained. Shut up, her mother-in-law yelled. Please, I'm late for work. You've already taken the money, Ada said, but her mother-in-law followed her. Stop, you poor barren rat. Don't you dare touch my son's car, her mother-in-law yelled. Just for peace to reign, Ada took a taxi to work. When it was time to go home, Ada joined her husband's car. He was surprised because she was supposed to come with a car. Honey, where's your car? He asked. I dropped it off at the mechanic, Ada replied. But I serviced all the cars just 2 days ago, so why didn't you use the other one? Chike questioned. Honey, please just let it go, Ada pleaded. But he knew his mom had done something. When they got home, Chike confronted his mom, but she denied stopping Ada from going to work with her car. Severally, Chike wanted to tell his mom that his wife was the one who gave him a job and oversaw the company where he worked. She made him who he is, but Ada begged him not to. Her mother-in-law continued to harass her, calling her a poor barren rat at every little chance she got. One day, Uju, Ada's friend, visited to spend the weekend with her. She couldn't believe it when she heard Ada's mother-in-law talking to her so rudely. You mean you've been taking this nonsense? Please, just let it slide. When I have kids, she will love me, Ada said. My dear, nobody deserves to be treated this way even if you don't have kids yet, her friend replied. Her husband was resting upstairs in his room and didn't know what was going on. See, I'm not my friend. I don't have patience. I have coconut head. I will beat you black and blue and send you out of my house. You're lucky I'm not the one, Uju said to Mama Chike. Please don't be rude to her. I won't take that from you. She's my mother-in-law, Ada pleaded. An ungrateful mother-in-law, her friend reported. It's okay. Let's go get dressed and go out. So Ada told her husband that she was going out with her friend for a sit-out. They both got dressed and came looking gorgeous. But as soon as her mother-in-law saw them, she dragged Ada's wig. This is my son's money. Let me have it. Please let go of my hair, Mama, Ada begged. All you do is eat my son's money, buy expensive clothes, shoes, and wigs. Today, I will take everything you took from my son, Mama Chike said angrily. You're not going anywhere. Give me this wig. I'm sure it cost a fortune, she said, trying to remove it. Uju intervened immediately. Now I can't take this anymore. This woman you're maltreating made your son who he is today. When your son was jobless, he came for an interview at the company where she works as a manager. She was his university lover and brought him in. Mama Chike became cold. In fact, let me tell you the truth my friend has been hiding for a very long time. Do you know that my friend owns the company where your son works? Uju continued. Shut up, you liar. How can this poor barren rat be that wealthy? Mama Chike snapped. While they were still talking, Chike came in and confirmed everything Uju had said. Mama, she's right. My wife is not a poor barren rat like you call her. She is a very rich woman. She made me who I am today. She owns everything but has remained humble. The only thing I didn't know is that my wife actually owns the company. I thought she was managing it for her uncle just like she had told me. Honey, I didn't want you to feel intimidated. Yes, it's not my uncle's company, but mine. I have never had any uncle who remembered me since my parents passed. I had to struggle alone until I got to where I am today by the grace of God. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you who I truly am, Ada said. Mama Chike was speechless. Yes, Mama, I am not a poor rat like you call me. I love your son and respect him. That's why I didn't want you or anyone to see him as someone I am feeding. It's teamwork. Whatever I own belongs to him now. And everything he owns belongs to me because we are now one. Her mother-in-law was speechless and didn't know what to say. She packed her belongings and left, feeling very cold, like someone who had just had an ice bath. A few minutes later, Uju also left. Ada had to apologize to Chike for lying to him. Then she shared the good news she had been waiting to surprise him with. Honey, I'm 4 weeks pregnant, she said. Her husband couldn't hold back his joy. He lifted her in excitement, spinning on the floor. They were so happy. Months later, Ada gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Mama Chike came to take care of her since she didn't have parents. Mama Chike apologized for everything she did to her. One day, Mama Chike said to Ada, "You are a good woman. You own everything, yet you behaved like you owned nothing. You are a good woman indeed. I'm so sorry for all the times I looked down on you. Please, my child, forgive me." They became the best mother and daughter-in-law anyone could think of. You could hardly tell she wasn't a biological daughter if you didn't know. Chike later got a job in an oil company, where his 1 month salary was his 6 month salary in his wife's company, and they lived happily. Moral lessons. Humility leads to harmony. Despite her wealth and success, Ada remained humble. She allowed her husband to shine without revealing her ownership of the company, showing that humility fosters respect and unity in relationships. Ada's journey shows that success requires resilience, discipline, and a strong work ethic. Despite her challenges as an orphan, she built her empire through consistent effort and focus. Patience and kindness can heal relationships. Ada's patience and kindness towards her mother-in-law eventually won her over. She didn't retaliate against the mistreatment, and her goodness transformed their relationship. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed creating. Like, share, and comment on the lessons you've learned. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you. Bye-bye.